Hello and welcome to this video for Civil AI System. In this tutorial we're going to be talking about the flowchart editor and how to save it and import it into your project. So the first bit after importing the package is to go to Window, AI, Civil AI System, Flowchart Editor. This screen is used to define the behaviors of your NPCs and is a node-based system, which is a flowchart. There's a few options up here, so there's the camera location, the zoom level, a quick load, and a import and export option along with a clear, so clear just clears the entire screen. What we're going to do to start off with is we're going to import the existing one called demo into the scene. So what this does is it imports the one from the first example scene, and we can go through it. There are 4 levels to the nodes: job, duty, task, method, and action. Starting off with the job node is the highest one and is the one that gives the name to this set of behaviors. So for example, this one is called a fisherman, and you can add in a description. The description doesn't do anything specifically for the system, but is useful for the developer to use. You can also set the start and end time of their workday. This is our 2400, and you can choose whether it can use a wider range of characters. So the global characters are ones which are in the local civil manager and are set to none for the job description. If this is ticked on, they can be used as well as the ones for their jobs. So that allows for a bit more generic ones for maybe certain rules where the characters might look very similar to a lot of others. Then going down a level is duty. Duties can have requirements. This is done by the circle on the line. If the circle is not filled in, like this one here, then it does not have any requirements to do the task. To add in a requirement, just click on it and it will add it in and add the circle. The first one is to do with what time of day it needs to be for them to start doing this action. So if they have already started doing this duty, they'll continue doing it until they've completed it and it moves on to the next one. You can also define it by how many workers are currently doing a task. So say you got 3 fishermen, and you want somebody to always be in the store, you can have it so it checks, hey, if there's 2 people fishing, we're not going to have it so the third one can go fishing. They have to do another duty, which is down here. The next level down is tasks. They are parts that make up a duty. So a duty is a big collection of tasks, and the task is just a way to break it down into a bit more easier to understand parts. The requirement system works exactly the same for this layer. The third level is method. So a task can have multiple methods, and each method has to achieve the same task. So tasks at the task level, well, each task within duty are different, but each method has to be the same if they have the same parent task. How the methods work is if a method fails and there's another method they can use, it'll use that other method and try as many different ways as it can based on each method. If a method's successful, the second method isn't tried at all. It's not used, it's just skipped. If all methods fail, then the task has failed and the duty has failed. So it moves on to the next duty. You'll get a log saying what GUID of the method or action failed, so you can use that for debugging purposes and actually breaking down the problems. So a method is, moving on, a method is made up of multiple actions. Each action is a predefined set of commands that are hard-coded in the back end with parameters they can take in. And this is how they're the building blocks for making your more complex behavior. So an action could be locating something, actually mounting a vehicle, a ship, a horse, whatever. It can be idling, it can be picking up in-game objects, dropping off in-game objects. But there's a list of them. Item needed, if you're locating something that's used to actually say what item you are trying to find. An item doesn't have to be a physical thing to pick up, it can be a stand or it can be a tree. It's something within the game world. Item output, that's used, so when the action finishes, a item can be popped into existence and become either being carried by a character or exists in the world. Look, that's used to make a character face a certain way. So for example, if you have a shopkeeper, you might want them looking over the counter where the customer is likely to be. So you can define that by having a look mutation added to that action. The last two are quite interesting. So the set item in use is for allowing a object to be kind of saved by a character. So that means no other NPC can interact with it until it has finished doing what that action is. So if you just tick this box, it'll reset on the end of the action and have it so somebody else can use it. If you set it like so, with the no reset of item in use, then the NPC will remember that action, the object, the item it's interacting with, into the next action and keep the item in use. So you will want to, most of the time, have the next action to set the item in use. So that will set it back to false when the second action has finished. So this allows a bit more complex behavior, and it also stops NPCs from possibly crowding a certain item and can make certain situations look nicer. Some items it might not be required for, it depends how your game works and how you want to use these, but the option's there if you want it. So this is a basic overview to existing flowcharts. You can see they have separate groups for each one. There's a focus system, so say you're having a problem with a certain part or you're just wanting to focus in on one, you can click focus and this will add a bar along the top, and you can hide everything else from view, so you can actually look through, understand what's happening and actually debug it or put a bit more focus into it. The order of nodes is important. It will always start with the lowest first, but the order can simply be changed by dragging these, allowing for you to change the actions as you want. You can also switch back to main along the top, and you can delete it by pressing the X. So that's existing flowchart, how everything is set up for the example scene. So next we'll show you how to create your own flowchart. So first we're going to clear it, then we're going to click job, and we're going to add in a woodcutter. So we've given it a name, we'll give it a start time, let's say 8 in the morning till 3 p.m. And we're going to allow it to use any NPC it wants out of the ones which can be used by any. So the next level is duty. You can link these, it doesn't matter which one you click first, you can just do it whichever way. So the first one would be find tree and cut down. That's the first duty we want our woodcutter to do. So a task of that is going to be find tree. So we can do it like so. Method, we can provide two separate methods. So we'll have find nearby tree, and we'll also add in a backup method which will be find tree over mountain. So we'll add in a action for the first one, and that'll be locate a tree. So there is a limit on the locate range. I think it's 120 unity measurements, however you've got those set up in your world. So this will find the nearest one within that area. And then we want to play an animation as they're near the tree and trying to chop it down. So we'll add in a idle. We'll carry over the existing item in use, so no other woodcutter will come near it. We'll also add in a requirement, and the requirements at this level are just to replace the dynamic animation and give a wait time. So we're limited on animations in this pack, and we'll put a wait time of 60 seconds. So we'll say it takes 60 seconds to chop down the tree. And that'll be all the behavior defined for our character. So we're having a backup method for if we run out of trees nearby, we're going to find them from far away. So we can add in a action, and we can link it, and we'll have it so locate in zone 1. So workplaces can have multiple zones, and zones are just similar to the locate, but we do it from the point of the zone. So a zone is just a vector 3, and you can place that wherever you want in the world, and then it will use that area to find what we need. Of course, the closest one to the NPC in that zone. So we want to set it so it's in use again, and we're going to link it to the action there, so we don't have to reset this up, but we'll have to set up the animations again, like so. So we got a really basic NPC now, who when they spawn in, they'll find and cut down a tree. So the first bit is they find a tree, and yeah, that's our simple woodcutter. So you can save a new one like so, and that will create a new one, or you can just click and you'll overwrite a existing group. So if I clear and I click import, this will load in our new sheet. Cool, so we can close this off now, and when we want to add it into our scene, we can add it using the manager. So we go Window, AI, Civil AI System, Manager, and we get back to this familiar screen. So within here we have Import Node Group, and we can select our group and we can click re-import, and that's going to generate a new set of information. So node groups at the moment aren't able to be specific per scene, so there's one global node group used throughout a project. This is because of the file structure. So how it works is within the Civil AI system, within the AI bit, there's a folder which is a Unity special folder called Resources, and Resources have the current ones active. So this has all the data broken down and held within here. Then within basically when you import using the manager, it just copies the files into this root, and then on load, the global civil manager loads this data in. All the inactive ones are stored within here, like you can see, and further up in the script folder there's an enums folder, and within here is a civil jobs enum, and this is also generated on the import. So each name of a job node is added into here. So you'll have, if we add in another one, for example, let's say farmer, and we export this, and we re-import, and we go back to the civil, you can see there's an extra one added in. So this is all handled behind the scenes, you don't have to deal with it, it's all handled by the manager. And then of course workplaces, you can give them the jobs that they require. That's it for this tutorial. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out. More than happy to answer any. Any feedbacks is appreciated, and thank you very much.